just doing my squats. Look at my form, my butt. Hi, my name is Lacey, and this is my recap of episodes 10 and 11. Bonus episode 10 and 11 of Love Island UK. And please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you're into my love recaps. So our two new bombshells have entered the villa, Leah and Charlotte, and they have ended their dates with their men, and now we're talking to the guys and the girls about how everything went. Let's hear the tea. Leah says she's into Tyrique mostly, and then into Zachariah. Poor Mitchell. He's like mostly into her. Charlotte likes Zachariah because he seems to be the oldest, more mature of everybody, and so is she. After the guys and girls talk, Molly, after feeling threatened, I'm sure, takes Zachariah up to the terrace and basically lays it on the lines like, I need you. And he calms her down and they share a smoochy smooch, so I guess things are going well for Molly and Zachariah. Mitchell hears about the smooch on the terrace, and little chatty Kathy, he goes and he pulls Leah. And he pulls Leah intentionally to tell her, to let her know, make her aware that Molly's smooching Zachariah on the terrace, so he's off the table. So Mitchell's essentially like, don't look over here. Pretend he's not here. Hi, I like you. I like you. And Leah's just a little like, okay, you're a bit intense. You're a bit too much. But she's humoring him a little bit. So we'll see. And Mitchell actually asks her like whose date was the best, and she said, oh, I'm not telling you that. And he says, oh, well, then it wasn't mine. Tyrique pulls Ella, and he's talking about his date with Leah, and he says that he kind of wants to get to know her more. And Ella's like, okay. It is not okay. It is very not okay. Molly and Mitchell are apparently best friends now, and she tells him that she and Zachariah had a kiss on the terrace. And Mitchell's like, yeah, I already knew, okay. But thank you for telling me. And I kind of appreciate Molly telling him, because he would have found out about it, and if he didn't hear from her, like right away, or if he heard it through somebody else, it might have made him feel a little bit sad. So I respect her for telling him. And he handled it well, for the most part. Tyrique and Leah are talking, and he also asks her about her favorite date, and she kind of insinuates that it was him. So it definitely wasn't Mitchell. He says he's not closed off, but she's looking for something serious. He mentions that she's a test for him and Ella, and I don't like this test bullshit. I don't like it. And then she says something like her skirt is short or something, her dress is short. And he says, oh, well, stand up and let me see. And so she stands up and he does this twirl. And so she does a little twirl and shows off the dress. And he's like, oh, yeah, like it. Meanwhile, Ella and a bunch of the other people watching and see this, shooting daggers and talking about this. Tyrique comes over to this group after he's done talking to Leah. And Catherine's like, oh, I saw, did she show off her dress? And he said, oh, no, I asked her to do that, because it just came up. So I asked her to twirl. Wrong thing to say, dude. Open mouth, insert foot. Ella's in this group. Pissed. And he's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with your face? And she's like, this is just my face. Everybody else is just like, oh, shit. Shit's about to go down. Oh, no. Ella pulls Tyrique with a, come here. Means business. He says, why are you so mad? And she says, why are you flirting so much? Why are you asking her to twirl right in front of my face? And he says, well, I'm sorry you walked into the kitchen where you could see me. Like, he also says her emotions are too high to talk and that they will talk tomorrow. Trouble in paradise. Is this paradise, though? In bed, though, Tyrique kisses Ella and says, you're my favorite. You're my favorite toy to play with. Fboy. In the morning debriefs, we find out that Molly is jealous about Zachariah going on dates, and she is hopeful for Mitchell that maybe he has some options other than her. Mitchell is also happy to have options, but I don't think he gets that Leah's not really into him, and Charlotte is just, I don't know, she's just kind of there. Ella is sad and she cries because Tyrique is flirting with Leah in front of her, so she's not doing well. Whitney says she's opening up to Medi by at least sleeping with her head on his shoulder. Baby, 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 baby steps? During the day, Ella pulls Leah for a chat. Ella's asking Leah how the date went with Tyrique, and Leah says that he was a little bit reserved on the date when everybody was watching, because, you know, you feel eyes in the back of your head. But when they're talking one-on-one, he seemed more like himself, and he seemed flirty, and he said he was open to getting to know her more. So Ella did not take that well. Ella tells Tyrique that she's not mad that he's getting to know Leah, but it's how he's getting to know her. I guess it's the flirting and the standing up and twirling that's getting to her. But it's also like he has to talk to her, so like, I'm not sure how else to do it. Or he's supposed to. Ella tells the girls that she doesn't feel valued by Tyrique and that she's worried that it might be over. Meanwhile, Tyrique and Leah are talking again, and they're making eye contact, and Tyrique says that emotions probably got the better of Ella, and it's like, don't speak for her. Don't speak for her, and especially don't speak for her when you're trying to hit on another girl. My 2 cents. Zachariah and Charlotte are talking, and Zachariah downplays the kiss with Molly on the terrace the other night. I think to keep his options open with Charlotte. He says he's not closed off, and Charlotte says that she likes him the most. Tyrique and Ella are talking, or should I say fighting again, and he asks how she is. She says she's upset. Tyrique says he still cares about her, and Ella buys it and hugs him, and they end on a good note, but he's still going to talk to Leah, so Ella's not going to be okay with the situation regardless. Ella feels drained and that she can't force him to listen or to feel her side of the story. Boy. Medi and Whitney get to go on a date, and they have a tandem bicycle ride, which is awkward but fun, and they're laughing and they're having a good time, I guess. And then they have some fruit and wine and sangria, they have some fruit and sangria, and they're chatting and they're having a nice little time, but it seems more platonic than romantic. Maybe because they're going so slow, but if that works for them, then that works for them. In her confessional, though, Whitney does say that he's growing on her, so we'll see. The funny thing is that during the date, Medi points out the 2 frogs were having sex in the lake next to them. Episode 10 ends with a recoupling, and in this case, the guys get to pick, but the 2 new bombshells get to pick their guys first. Leah, unsurprisingly, picks Tyrique. The stank face on Ella when that happened, oh boy, could kill with those looks. And Charlotte picks Zachariah, so Molly's gonna have to wait again. Oh, everyone kind of laughs at this because it's just like, everybody knows what they've been through, so it was pretty funny. So now it's the guys' turn, and the guys, we have Andre picking Catherine, which is not surprising because he made it clear that he's gonna try and get to know her more. Medi picks Whitney, no surprise. Sammy picks Jess. And then Mitchell, out of Ella, Rucci, and Molly, picks Molly. Mitchell, baby. That leaves Ella and Rucci at risk. And now the Islanders have to decide amongst themselves which one of the girls is going to be saved and which one is going to be dumped. And that ends episode 10 on a cliffhanger. But I am going to go right into episode 11. And here we go. So everybody's talking, and Tyrique obviously wants to keep Ella. And some people are saying that Rucci actually hasn't had a chance because there hasn't been anybody in the villa for her. And Andre was kind of so-so for her. Ultimately, though, Rucci is dumped from the island because Tyrique and Ella have some kind of relationship there. Whether it's good or bad, who knows? So after the dumping and after Rucci leaves, Mitchell is basically saying, you're welcome to Zachariah for saving Molly because it could have been her in the bottom 2 and it could have been her at risk. But Mitchell was like, I wouldn't have done that for any other guy except my Zachariah. He's my bro. I'm going to save his girl, his Molly. Meanwhile, he's telling the producers that he saved Molly for his own gain and that he's going to try and rekindle things with her. Mitchell, no, have some dignity. Here, I feel like Mitchell's gentlemanness comes in the form of white knighting. And he is the savior. He is the one who saved her. So therefore she should give him another chance. And I don't really care for that, Mitchell. Mitchell then pulls Molly to again say you're welcome. And he says, oh yeah, I told everybody that I saved you for Zachariah, but I think that we're not done yet. And you're still my number one priority. And Molly's like, I'm happy with Zachariah, dude. And she actually says that she wished somebody else had picked Mitchell. I think he gets the hint now. Zach and Molly touch base and they talk about Mitchell making these moves, and both are like, what is he doing? Like, no, guys, no, Mitchell, no. It's clear that both Molly and Zachariah are good with each other, so Mitchell's not even, he's just a gnat that they're kind of like, okay. Leah and Tyrique are talking after the recoupling, and Leah is very emotional because she feels like she doesn't want to be portrayed as the bad guy and everything, and she had to make a decision, and she went with who was seemed the most open and flirty with her, that she vibed with the best, so it was Tyrique. And she's worried about Ella because Ella's shooting daggers, of course, and Tyrique said that she's brave and that he's still open to getting to know her, so trouble. Ella comes over during this conversation and pulls Tyrique, and she's sad about Ruchi leaving, and he tells her that he's going to get to know Leah and that he has to trust their connection and let him talk to her. It's bedtime after the recoupling, and Molly makes a point, after being picked by Mitchell, to sleep outside. She is not in it for Mitchell, and Zachariah says, hey, should I go out there and sleep with her? And Jess is like, no, you don't do anything. She's doing this to make a point. The point is to Mitchell. Leave it. Let her sleep outside if she wants to. And he does. So good on you, Zach. Stand firm. The next morning, Catherine is happy that she's back with Andre. Charlotte wanted to cuddle with Zachariah, but he was telling the guys that he wasn't into cuddling with her. He just wants Molly. Zachariah might have also left if Molly had been kicked out, and he's like, I might have, so that's something to look into. Tyrique is getting the test he wants, and he's failing, but he's still mostly into Ella. Ella is upset that Leah didn't pull her to tell her that she was going to recouple with Tyrique or flirting with Tyrique or whatever, and Leah's like, you were too upset. What was I supposed to do? You're going to tear my head off. Fair. Zachariah and Charlotte are in the gym, and we have a group watching, and Charlotte's doing squats and trying to like get the right form, whatever. Just doing my squats. Look at my form, my butt. And Molly sees this and is like, hell no. And so she walks over saying she's using the restroom, and then she's gonna join the gym. Yeah, right. And so she's just standing there like behind Zachariah and Charlotte working out, and she's just like mean mugging and shooting daggers at them. So the group is watching, and Sammy yells over, hey Zachariah, do you have room in that gym class? And Zachariah's like, yeah, come on over, because they're just making fun because everybody sees what's happening. And Molly shoots back, oh hey Jess, why don't you come over and come join us in the gym? And Jess claps back, no, I'm not interested in being part of this triangle. I died. Brilliance. So good, Jess, so good. And you could see Molly's face was just like she smelled a fart, like a really juicy fart, and she looked mad. And they continue to talk about how like well, what are you doing over there? Like, what is she even doing? And Molly can hear them, and she's just like, I can hear you. Awkward. And then Charlotte leaves because she doesn't want any part of this, and the scene ends. So I don't know how Zachariah and Molly kind of like talked after that, but my God, was it awkwardly funny. We now have a game called Popping Off. And this is where there's a balloon and they have to pop it in a sex position, and then there's a dare inside and they have to do that dare or challenge, whatever. So I'm gonna go through real quick. Medi thinks Molly and Zachariah would make a good couple. Molly reels in Zachariah to kiss because he'd make the best catch. Mitchell kisses Leah because she'd make good girlfriend material. Sam has to kiss the two people who he thinks fancy him the most, and he kisses Jess and Leah. Where did Leah come from? Leah said that Sam's kiss was intense as well, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just intense. Tyrique kisses Leah because he wants to get to know her more. Ella not happy. Surprise. Everybody had to close their eyes while Charlotte kissed the person that she wanted to get to know most, and she picked Tyrique. Everybody saw. Ella saw. Everybody saw, and Ella was pissed. Zach shushes Charlotte because he says it's because he didn't get the secret kiss from her. I think he just was trying to show her that he's not interested in her, to be honest. That's just my 2 cents. Sam has to put together the Frankenstein perfect girl, so he does the face, Leah, the body, Ella, and the personality of Jess. And Jess handles it really well, and she says, you know what, looks change and everything, but like my personality, that's me. So he chose the best possible outcome he could have for her. Jess had to kiss the most two-faced person, and she kissed Tyrique, and everybody thought she would choose Molly, and she said, no, I don't want to make it too rough on her today. Whitney had to high five the game player, the biggest game player, and she high fives Molly, so I guess somebody said it. And Leah kissed two people that she'd found the most attractive were Mitchell and Sam. Tyrique was a little butthurt at this, but I guess it saved Leah from getting on Ella's shit list even further. After the game, Molly asks Whitney like why she picked her as the game player, and Whitney just says like, hey, in my opinion, you could have told Mitch about Zachariah sooner. And Molly's like, well, I disagree. I told him when I knew. And she's like, well, you asked, so this is my opinion, and I said it, so take for it what you will. Leah and Sam chat. They're okay. They're flirty. I don't get Sam. Ella says she feels like a second option, which I don't know if she's a second option, but she is an option. Tyrique made that clear. Zach and Charlotte talk, and he basically says, he shuts her down, and he's like, no, my head's with Molly right now, so like that's where I'm at, and the chat just wasn't there. So Charlotte is not, and Zachariah are not a thing. Tyrique and Leah are talking, and she is begging him to not waste her time. Like, is this just flirting, or are you serious? Where are you with Ella? What's happening? And he's like, I'll let you know when I figure it out and when I decide. And she ends up doing another little twirl for him for the new dress. Ella pulls Leah to talk. And Ella's talking like, I wish you had told me sooner. It's like, what is there to tell? I don't know. He seemed open, and so I chose him. That's it. He was flirty, and that's it. It's not deep. And Ella says that Leah stole Ty, and it's like, no. Nobody steals anything that didn't want to be stolen. Person. So, no. There was no stealing anything. She also tells Leah just how she feels like a second option and not valued. And Leah's kind of like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. It's like, you need to talk to Tyrique about this. It's not up to Leah. Okay? The episode ends with a fight between Tyrique and Ella. It just comes down to her feeling mugged off, and he's not ready to make a decision. He still wants to flirt with Leah and see if there's anything there. And Ella walks away because nothing is really going to get sorted right now. It's a heated argument, and they came into it aggro, so they're going to end it aggro, and they do. So that is it for my recaps of episodes 10 and 11. What do you think about these new bombshells? Do you think they're bombing? Do you think there's any potential there with any of the Islanders? If you've missed any of my recaps so far, go check them out now. And also, I'm recapping Love Always, Temptation Island, and The Big D. So if you're into any of those shows, check out those videos after this one. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time.